You stand accused of witchcraft, and shall be tried by my ducking stool, hewn from the mightiest tree on Pendle Hill. If you drown, you are innocent. If you survive, you are a witch.
Meet me on the other side.
So much for not interfering.
To the bridge! Come on!
Who dares interfere with this trial? 35 witches we have tried, and still Satan surrounds us. We shall not be stopped.
Doctor, we're here!
You will be punished for your interference. The trials are sacred. They are the will of God.
Is she alive? I'm sorry.
Come back to London with me, Ryan. Be my protector.
I mean, it's a kind offer, sire, but, you know.
I've got stuff to do.
It's my pricker. Now, we can have some fun. Eh, Ryan? Your wand. How does it work?
It's got 3 settings.
Satan. Satan.
Satan.
Satan.
Satan in
What's Satan?
Satan.
Book of Satan. Satan's
Lucifer. Agent of Satan. Satan.
It's Satan. Satan. It's Satan.
Agents of Satan, even in the face of witchery. A woman.
Set a woman to catch a woman.
Hold your tongue, lassie.
You know, even if I am just a woman. A woman who...
What woman?
These are hard times for women. If we're not being drowned, we're being patronised to death. Honestly, if I was still a bloke, I could get on with the job and not have to waste time defending myself.
Oh, you...
Of course, as a woman, you don't get to have pockets for a while yet.
To silence foolish women who talk too much.
Wasn't it? Doubt it. Not a big believer in Satan.
I didn't ask if you were any sort of faith.
Not really. It's brought up neoclassic, congregational. Because my mum, she was... my old mum. What about you?
I believe I haven't seen everything, I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? The things you make out the rules. If that thing had said it came from beyond the universe, I'd believe it, but before the universe, impossible. Doesn't fit my rule. Still, that's why I keep travelling. To be proved wrong. Thank you, Ida.
Don't go!
Hello. Welcome. I'm here with Tony again, as usual. Hi, Tony. So, Tony, what did we just finish doing?
We just watched the Whammon Hunt episode of Doctor Who.
The Whammon Hunt?
The Whammon Hunt. That's exactly what it was.
Okay, we'll call it the Whammon Hunt.
Because I think they said the word woman more than they said the word witch.
Probably. And various related things. So what did we think of the Whammon Hunt?
It's hard because I think it was better than the episodes that we had so far. So Kerblam and this episode stand out to me in this season, but that doesn't mean that it was good. It was just better than all the other crap that we had.
I won't call them the best because the word best and this series just don't go together. I will call them the least terrible. But they were still shit. Well, there wasn't really much of a plot. I commented during the episode, it seemed like they were trying to repeat the Shakespeare Code, but without all the charm of the Shakespeare Code. I like the Shakespeare Code. I don't like this.
Well, I'm gonna try to summarize the plot just so everybody's caught up with this. Maybe I missed something in the beginning, but they just randomly materialize in England during the medieval times. I'm not sure why they went there.
We might have missed that. We were having computer issues at the time.
Yeah, and I was drinking, so yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah. I wasn't.
Yeah, Chris, you betrayed me.
Yeah, I know. I had tea.
Yeah, I was drinking tea. Let's go with that cover story.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, so they materialize there, and they're in the middle of a witch trial, and this woman gets dunked into some water, and she drowns after like 2 seconds. Which
is not has a hole in it. Although was she one of the bad makeup alien things?
Yeah. It's not even medically possible to drown that fast.
No.
But anyway. Okay, so she basically gets buried by her daughter, and while she's getting buried, the daughter sees a mud root thing, and is rescued by Yaz. In the meantime, we meet the King James, who is being super racist. Sorry, not racist. Being super sexist to Jody.
Yeah, he's the patriarchy.
Which is hilarious. Basically, they pose themselves as witch hunters, so Jody and Co. And they try to investigate what the hell is actually happening. So they discover that the mud root thing was an alien that was trapped under the castle, I guess. And it's like a war race thing. And they untrapped themselves, and now they just want to wreak havoc, I guess. And the lady person who was in charge of the entire territory, she got stabbed by one of the roots, and now she's evil and she can't fight Satan anymore, and wahaha, she converts into one of them, and they kidnap the king, and then the doctor saves everybody. So I think that's the basic summary. Oh yeah, and the king obviously kills one of the aliens, and he's a very, very bad man for doing that. So the doctor basically gets really pissy with him and doesn't explain what the TARDIS is and just leaves.
Yeah, basically,
so funny.
Has there ever been a passive-aggressive end of Doctor Who before? Because I think this is the first passive-aggressive ending we've ever had to an episode.
Yeah, she was so bitchy to James guy. To King James. Yeah.
I'm trying to define exactly what Whittaker is trying to do. She's trying to be zany, but and literally, like, we look into this, like, just, 30 seconds into the episode, the bobbing for apples crap. Like, here we go again. It's like, it's it's probably more David Tennant, but with no charisma at all. Would David Tennant ever be passive-aggressive at the end of an episode? No, he'd just get mad and imprison you.
Well, I think he tries to teach people a lesson. I mean, he was kind of, in the Christmas Invasion.
Yeah, he does. He would get bitchy, but this was just funny because she just it's like she was having a little temper tantrum at the end of the episode. Like if you pissed off Doctor Number 10, you would have the wrath of God brought down upon you. You piss off Doctor Number 11, she gives you the silent treatment. Or Dr. 13.
Well, yeah, she's a woman.
No, even if I was a woman, I would be ashamed of this person.
What else did we think of this episode?
King James was a little bit over the top.
Oh yeah, at the end it's revealed that King James is like super into what's his face?
Ryan. Oh, and let's not forget his magic pricker. Or I guess he just called it his pricker.
His magic pecker.
Yeah, there's no subtext there at all. Although I believe King James was actually gay, but was he really that flamboyant?
Was also a pretty small pricker, if I might say.
But his pricker? Yeah, that's keep in mind the feminists wrote this episode, so they don't really understand humor at all.
Yeah, I know. Okay, this is an interesting thing. By the way, like so Jodie Whittaker, she dives in to save the very first lady that we see getting tried for being a witch. And it never actually shows her in the water, which I thought was extremely hilarious. It shows her like jumping in, and then it just cuts her to on shore, just wearing some wet clothes.
Maybe she can't swim.
And even when they did the whole trial thing of the doctor, because by the way, they obviously thought that the doctor is a witch and they tried to put her in the river.
I was hoping for regeneration.
It also doesn't show her in the water, which is so funny. It just cuts to her like out of the water. I'm not sure why and what the problem was, but it just was so noticeable to me. It was just pretty funny to watch that.
Yeah. Well, what about ideology count in this episode?
I didn't really see that much political stuff. It was more of a commenting on, wham and can't be
Whammon.
generals. The Whammon, yeah, exactly. They were all over this. Oh, I guess there was a little bit. I guess we were talking about Christianity a bit.
Oh yes, and how it was the devil again.
Oh yeah, the amount of time that Satan was mentioned, and I thought it was pretty funny because they just described these people as some random Christian lunatics that are justifying killing people because of, Jesus and salvation. And I thought that contrasted very well with the Demons of Punjab episode, where, Muhammad wasn't mentioned once. And I know you can say that episode wasn't about religion, but so was this one. This one wasn't about religion, was it? But for some reason, everything was justified by religion.
Well, it was more it was a slight on Christianity because, Christianity is the least favored religion at the moment, for obvious reasons. Although, the choice of, we have like feminism all over the place here, but we also had King James, who was a little bit over the top. Poor Ryan. We had Graham in his hat. Yaz was useless again.
Yeah, what did Yaz do? I don't think she did anything.
No, she did something at the end. I don't know. I think I was trailing off near the end. I'm gonna have to watch this again. But she's useless. I don't know. Every time I just see her on screen, I'm like, why are you here? And I think Ryan gets underserviced too, because he's actually really funny, but it's like he has no part to play in any episode. He's just there. It's like the three companions are there to deliver lines, and that's it.
I'm not sure why Chibnall decided to include so many companions if he's having trouble to write even one coherent character.
Well, he can't even come up with an idea for Christmas, so I don't think he had any ideas going into this. He just wanted the diverse cast, and that was it.
That's true. I think we're expecting too much of a man. If the lead writer was a woman, I bet things would have been different, Chris.
Probably would have done a better job. So what do you have on your notepad? Oh, wait, while you're doing that, let's pull up my favorite forum and see what they're saying about it. Okay, so forum titles. So what are people saying about this feminist masterpiece? Oh, I see the general disdain thread for the Witchfinders is at the top. TARDIS wardrobe. Well, yeah, we were saying that earlier, how it's basically they don't even address the fact that they don't change clothes. It just doesn't come up, which I think you found to be somewhat amusing.
Yeah, it's at this point I'm getting pissed off, again, as with everything, that they're not acknowledging the differences in clothing. I mean, that was part of the magic, I think. Remember how Queen Victoria sees Rose the first time in Tooth and Claw, and it was pretty funny. Like that's the magic of Doctor Who, and we don't see this in this episode. I mean, the Doctor's dressed like Pinocchio, and everybody's like, "Oh, okay, I guess that's cool."
The other Doctors really would have pretty much blended in, but yeah, this one's dressed like a frickin' clown. So you think they'd at least notice that?
That's another thing why it's easy to have a male Doctor is because that the costume actually, the male standard costume, the tie and a blazer or just a blazer, pretty much it travels through time. Unless we go to like really deep Victorian times, then obviously it's gonna just look weird. But most of the time, you can get a nice frock, a nice blazer throughout history, and it's not gonna look out of place. So it's kind of easy to blend that in, and that's what they've been doing.
Well, even with the female Doctor, they didn't have to dress her like Pippi fucking Longstocking. So they could have made it a little less over the top, but apparently this is what she wanted. Alright, so we were going over what Gallifrey Place has to say. The Doctor's wardrobe, yeah, we touched that. King James actor, over the top, like really over the top. This one's Jodie's performance so far. Same crap every week, although she still plays it slightly differently each week, but she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. Predict the ratings, I don't know, 5 million overnight. Oh, this person is amazed that they actually played the main theme over the end credits, yes. None of the companions have developed since episode 1, that is true, because they're just there to talk and that's it. Here's one, Joy Wilkinson, welcome to Doctor Who, please stay a while. No, please don't, go away. Hints that this was originally episode 4. Who cares? The Doctor does not
I think that would have
believe
been
in
a lot better, because this was a lot more solid story than whatever they had episode 4. Because up until Kerblam, I don't even remember, but up until Kerblam, everything was just a mess. Kerblam. I can't even pronounce it. Like, what the fuck with these episode names? Holy shit! I already said that in the previous video, but for fuck's sake.
Oh no, the Trump guy with the spider episode was number 4. Oh, PC Political Correctness Watch. Oh, this one's fun. What was politically correct? At least they were PC enough to cast Alan Cumming as King James rather than casting an English actor in Scottish face.
I actually liked Alan Cumming. He was really good.
I thought he was over the
wasted
top,
a little
but...
bit. Well, his character was over the top, but I think he did really good acting him.
Well, his character is badly written. That's the problem. Like the writing in this episode was horrific, but it is every week horrifically bad. It's such a basic plot. I'm like, you look at the series and it's 10 episodes long. It's also supposed to be the first episode of a new Doctor and the first episode of a new producer. And like this is episode number 8. Look at what they've come up with so far this season. Like just a bunch of crap. I'm like, there was no originality in the script. It was a basic play by numbers Doctor Who script. I'm like, they took the Shakespeare Code and tried to redo it, except without David Tennant. And then it's just further emphasized how much Whittaker isn't David Tennant.
Yeah, and to get things straight, I mean, we don't go into every episode trying to hate it. We go in with a pretty clean slate. Actually, I'm usually pretty excited to see the episode because I still have that shimmer of hope inside that the episode is going to be good, but time and time again we get proved wrong. And come on, I mean, like, there's a lot of people saying that, you know, we just don't like a doctor that's a woman. We're just seeing political correctness everywhere. Well, you know what? It is everywhere. That's the problem. So every episode has its own agenda.
Well, that's what, and this is what I've been accused of the past year. I don't care that the Doctor's a woman. I care over the fact that, over the way it's been implemented. But this show, just look at the internet. It's a PC nightmare, and I think what's going to happen with Doctor Who is going to be very similar to what happened with The Last Jedi. I predict the ratings will probably be a little bit lower for this one, but I don't think they're going to completely bottom out this series. But I think whenever the show comes back, I think it's done. Like it's going to be a Solo effect, because the long-term fans, a lot of them are those of us that grew up with the classic series. That, you know, there's a few that are still following it, but most of them are done. The SJW crowd will be on to something else by that point. So who's going to be watching it? Maybe some diehard Doctor Who fans, and that's it. I'm like, there's no substance to these episodes. It's just a very loose plot around whatever the PC message of the week is.
And that is the big problem. I mean, okay, you know what? I'm even allowing some political messages, sure. If they fall through the cracks, okay, sure, but that shouldn't be at the cost of the story. And that's what we're seeing. We have very crappy stories and a very prominent message that's being sent. And, you know, if we had a really good story, maybe I could have lived with the message. Sure, I can just close my eyes, whatever. But we don't have that. And so all we can focus on is the message that's being sent. And there are those the messages, they're there. They're not even doing a good job hiding them. And that's the thing. You know, the cinematography, the acting, nothing can really hide it because the writing is so bad. And in this episode, I actually wanted to say that the acting was pretty good with the material that they had. Alan Cumming, that lady that played the crazy lady, I think they did a really good job with
the one from Downton Abbey?
Yeah, that lady. I haven't really seen Downton Abbey just yet, but I think they did a really good job with the material that they had. So did the girl, like the daughter of the witch that got drowned. They were okay, but the material wasn't. So it's basically Peter Capaldi 2.0 without Peter Capaldi.
So what I was saying, so there's actually a video which should be out, well, I'm going to be doing probably this week, more likely than not later in the week. But basically, the idea is, because one of the comebacks that I keep getting is people keep putting forth the argument that the show has always been political. Well, yes, it has been, but not in the way it was political now. There were, in the original series, Robert Holmes episodes, just as an example, were very political. But if we look at the Russell T Davies era, yeah, there were politics in there, but they never overrode the story. You could see that they were there, but they were largely just shrugged off, and, you got distracted because the writing was a hell of a lot better. Like when they did the Shakespeare Code, it was just mentioned once, Martha's race, just as a throwaway line, and, they joked with it a little bit, but it wasn't something that you were completely beat over the head with, like in the case of this episode, where you have the Doctor being a woman, you were beat over the head with it, because they didn't really have anywhere else to go with this. It was a very simplistic plot. And I think the problem that we're having with the episodes in this series, and especially in Series 10 as well, is they have a political message, and then they formulate an episode around that message in loose terms, but it's like a themed political message is what I'll describe this season, where it's dull and it's uninteresting, and to the average person that doesn't follow that political message, there really is very little to get out of this episode.
Well, to be fair, when Stephen Moffat was the showrunner, at the end, there were a lot of complaints saying that he has episodes that are way too complicated. And so I think we should eat our own words, where we finally got a showrunner that
we
is
went
making
from one
everything...
extreme to the other. We
Exactly.
have one that was writing, like, complex textbooks, and now we have one that's basically writing children's stories.
Pretty much, and that's the thing. I mean, they overdid it, I think, with the story complexity. It's pretty empty. And going back to the episode, I mean, it was... I don't know how to describe it. It was very disjointed, in my opinion. It was a little bit all over the place.
It seemed very thrown together, is what I thought, and I think it was using the Shakespeare Code as a template.
And another thing, where is all the supporting cast? That's time and time again, episode throughout episode. Where are the supporting cast? It's so funny. We literally see King James alone, walking around, doing his thing. And he doesn't have any servants, he doesn't have anything. For God's sake, Queen Victoria from Tooth and Claw had more people with her than this episode, and this series is supposed to have more money. Where the hell is everybody? Remember the Shakespeare Code? We actually got to see a crowd. We didn't get to see, I don't know, just like 20 people not wanting to be there. We actually got to see a crowd of people.
Oh, Martha almost got dumped on by a bucket.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, there were actually people in the background. It made it seem alive and like we're actually there. And yes, I know some of the graphics looked pretty shitty, but it got made up with all those people that were there and setting the atmosphere, I guess. Whereas here, this wasn't a village. They showed a castle from somewhere far away. There were 20 people who were bored watching somebody get dunked on a tree branch, and that was about it. And then there was King James, who was just by himself, I guess. I guess there were two guys, and one of them got killed by the creepy mudroot women, and that was it. And then he was just all on his own.
Well, I wonder if it has something to do with the budget, and the budget now, you can tell it's lower than it was in previous series. But one thing that I commented was just how ridiculous the makeup looked. I'm like, it's like a Halloween costume.
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with the makeup either, but the graphics were okay, I think.
It looked pretty. That's mainly because the new, I can't remember what they were called, red cameras or whatever it is, but the cameras that they're using this season.
Well, the muddy root looked pretty muddy.
Oh, it was muddy. The root sticking out at the end looked kind of fake.
What do you think, how are we going to rate this, Chris?
This episode, Jesus Christ. Okay, once again, the only things that I liked about this episode are the same three things I like every week. Graham was hilarious as always, and I liked his hat. Ryan, actually, I liked Ryan's performance, especially when he was running away from King James. I think he did a good job. Yaz was useless. The Doctor,
Who's Yaz?
We've already talked about. Yeah, exactly. Who's Yaz? Akinola's score was good. Alan Cumming was over the top, but maybe I can give it. I'm going to give it a. Oh Christ! I'll give this one a. I'll give it a 2, which I think might be my highest rating this season. 2 out of 10.
I was actually about to give the same rating. I think I was going to give it 2, because it's, in my opinion, not as good as Kerblam, but, I mean, Kerblam was pretty bad, don't get me wrong.
It was boring, it was unoriginal, it was beating you over the head with messages. The feminist writer, I'm sorry, could not write a script.
There were way too many whammon, Chris. And not enough story.
There were lots of whammons. I don't know. It's so now we're 8 episodes into the series. We've got 2 left. The brief trailer that we had for next week looked really stupid. Something about a cabin. So I think I'm pretty safe in saying that this is officially the worst season or series of Doctor Who ever. This is worse than series 9 and 10. And this is worse than season 24, which was by far the worst season of the original series. Each episode has been absolutely dreadful. I look forward to it being over. And this is coming from somebody who's been watching the show since he was 3 during Tom Baker's final season. If, at this point, if I wasn't still reviewing it for this channel, I probably would have stopped watching the show by now. So, that's it for this week. I think this one is a little bit shorter than other weeks, but I think
we just ran out of things to say, really.
Yeah, well, I ran out of things to say, and I also had to be up in basically the middle of the night to go to work. So, we'll be doing this again this week. I know Tony has some very interesting and amusing ideas for the intro. We'll see how many times you have to fight with the copyright to actually get it to go through this time. What's your record so far? 5?
Yeah, I actually 6.
So 6,
BBC
yes.
has been on my case, so there's been 6 times that I had to change the video because of the copyright.
So basically, the way we do these videos is Tony will edit them, then it gets uploaded and tested, and I think like the one time you had to do it 6 times. Then I get the final completed file, 40 minutes, however long it is. I do a test run, so I upload it to my second channel, Bulls Trek Media. Leave it in unlisted on average for about 12 hours, make sure it's okay, it goes through all the filtering, then it gets uploaded to the main channel, and I usually leave it for a few hours, make sure all the copyright testing has gone through, and then it gets published. But it's a royal pain in the ass to get it to publication, isn't it, Tony?
Oh, it sure is.
Well, that's it for today then, so thank you again, Tony. We'll do this again next week, and I'm going to go to bed. Oh, there we go. We got an acknowledgement from Lexi. So, as always, everyone, thank you for watching, and have a great day.